Guide Dogs is a charity set up to help people who are blind or partially sighted to enjoy the same freedom of movement as everyone else. They're currently on the lookout for more volunteers, and joining me in the studio now to tell us more is volunteer treasurer for the Portsmouth support group, Denise Allen. Also here is Danielle Thomas with her dog Neisha, and Ian Morris, known as Tiny, with his dog Gunner, who's also not that tiny. Thanks so much for coming in, and thanks, dogs, as well, for joining us. Very nice to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
And so tell me about Guide Dogs, if you will, Denise. What do you do?
Well, I volunteer as treasurer for Portsmouth and Southampton branches. Guide Dogs, as an organisation, is 85 years old. It's celebrating 85 years of the first Guide Dog partnerships this year. It's a national charity organised through local branches nationwide, and I'm treasurer, so look after the money, if you like, for the Portsmouth district, which is quite a large district, and Southampton, and we basically organise lots of events in our area, all sorts of things, quizzes, you name it, sponsored this, sponsored that, and get involved with these guys to try and raise money to help support the visually impaired in our districts with by providing other mobility methods, but also guide dogs, and this gives them the ability to have independence and go about their daily lives.
And Ian, you're a volunteer and you look after Gunner. What is it that you do with him? What is it that involves?
Oh, I think so. I'm actually blind. Gunner is my working dog.
Okay.
So and it's that interesting piece where a number of people kind of look at you and think, well, you don't necessarily look blind, but I have a full and active life, and Gunner is really the enabler that helps me do all that I do. So technology's never been better. So at work I've got a phone that speaks to me, I've got a computer that speaks to me. But in terms of that ability to get out and go places independently, Gunner's really changed my life. I've had him for 4 years now, and we go everywhere together. So he's got his own his passport. So when we go on business trips, he comes on the plane with me, and we're quite happy travelling all over Europe with work and doing all those kind of things. But it is that it's that ability where you don't have to ask somebody to take you somewhere. When you've got a guide dog, you're always going to stay safe, and this one's particularly enthusiastic when he's up on the frame.
He's very calm and sitting there, very well behaved. I'm incredibly impressed. You must have done a lot of training, Denise, to have got to this stage and to be to know what to do. And is that something that Guide Dogs is involved in?
Well, Guide Dogs have a huge number of staff and volunteers to make the whole organisation work. The volunteers, I think, are about 14,000 nationwide. There's 1,400 members of staff, and they're essentially people that breed the dogs and then take them after their initial puppy walking year, when they actually are placed permanently with a volunteer. When they go back for their next stage of training, and that's where the staff get involved, because Ian and Danielle will have what's called a GDMI, which is a Guide Dogs Mobility Instructor, which is a person who is there for them to help advise and continue the training after they've actually qualified together. It's quite a long process, the whole training, from 6 weeks to about 2 years. And as I said, the volunteers puppy walk them, but the staff actually do the last bit of the training, the more advanced areas.
So you're looking for volunteers at the moment, and what kind of role would those volunteers take on, and how much of a commitment is it? Because having a puppy is quite a big commitment.
Yes. Well, there really is. The problem that guide dogs have is that these are brilliant assets to have, but they do cost quite a lot of money to provide. And unfortunately, Guide Dogs as an organisation don't receive any financial assistance from the government. So we do survive on essentially public donations of a variety of sorts. Where we need volunteers, the staff are very busy looking after the dogs and the guys that need them. So the volunteers are an essential part of raising those funds, raising awareness of the charity, explaining what we're trying to do and to provide. There's lots of ways people can get involved. I tend to volunteer a lot. I work full-time in a school, but spend most of my spare time raising money for guide dogs. But it doesn't have to be like that for everybody. You can help at one-off events. You can do your own charity fundraiser. I'm going to abseil the Spinnaker Tower in April, and if somebody does something like that, the donations raised can be donated to the organisation. Danielle's organising a quiz later in the year. We've got coffee mornings, all sorts of things. We're trying to do a climb over the O2, and that's going to be open to visually impaired and people who can see blindfolded. So it's about raising awareness and coming up with lots of fun ideas and things to do that gets people to really essentially to put their hands in their pockets and help us keep these guys on the road.
And Danielle, we've heard Neisha making a couple of little sighs, and I think she wants some attention there. Tell me a bit about your relationship with Neisha then.
So I first got Neisha when I was about 18. I was actually the youngest guide dog owner at the time, but now they've lowered the age down to a lot younger than that now. So I've had Neisha now good over 4 years. Neisha's my first guide dog, and like Tanya was saying, or Ian I should say, I wouldn't be put out without Neisha. Neisha goes with me everywhere. We go to college at the moment. We do 2 college courses, and with Denise I do the volunteering with Denise's branch, so the Portsmouth branch. And so hopefully after these college courses are completed, we're hoping to go to university in Birmingham, and that is to do exactly what the help I got now really from guide dogs, is to be a rehab worker for vision impaired people. Only because really I've had that experience of what it was like then to now, and how I would like to help others back to them really. So be a challenge, but it'll be okay. So
and how might your life be different if you didn't have Neisha with you?
I don't think I could quite imagine it now, because when I did have my cane, so the white stick as we class it, I hated using the stick. I never used to go out at all with it. I used to stay at home, and my mum then used to have to take me out and do whatever we need to do. So as soon as I said I would like a guide dog, and that was it. So we did the training with guide dogs, and they were brilliant from day one till now, because you still get the support. They don't leave you and go. And because I know how much work they've had to put in towards with a dog, and we realised there was no government funding or financial input that way. So I've done fundraising for myself for guide dogs to just put that bit extra to say thanks really.
Well, you're clearly kind of putting the dogs through their paces, because they've come in here and they're absolutely exhausted.
It was an early start. Gunner's on overtime.
Well, we're very grateful for them to come in and for all of your time as well, and explaining kind of just how important the dogs are and all the work that you do. So thank you so much, and best of luck with the fundraising, and best of luck with that abseil as well. Rather you than me, I think.
I just say we do have a Facebook page called the Portsmouth Fundraising and Support Group, so if anyone's interested to get involved, however long, that would be the way to go.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, thank you.